Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Hasbro in their Marvel Legends series, we are featuring Secret Wars Beyonder. Alright, so this is going to really date me. So this line of action figures is celebrating 40 years of the comic book series Secret Wars. So back in 1984, I think I was in the 3rd grade. So I'm starting to feel really old right now. The original lineup of action figures, I believe, were produced by Mattel back in the day. I only had a couple of figures when I was younger in the early 80s, especially around 84. I think I was into G.I. Joe and Transformers. I do remember getting Dr. Doom and his weird vehicle as a birthday gift. I didn't really read Marvel comic books until a few years later, even though I was introduced to Marvel superheroes at a young age through the cartoons like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and The Incredible Hulk on Saturday mornings. The Beyonder, great villain. This is the antagonist of the Secret Wars comic book. His costume design is very 80s, as is his hairstyle. This is very almost like coming off of the post-disco era. It comes with a cool identity shield over here with the lenticular design. Comes with alternate hand, so if you kind of want to recreate him using his reality warping powers, you can use that. He kind of comes with a very small, it's almost like a global structure. So one of his power sets is that he can warp reality and literally create new worlds and universes. So this is kind of cool. You could kind of recreate him recreating Battle World or some pocket universe. On the back, Marvel's Beyonder. After pitting the greatest superheroes and villains against each other, the Beyonder attempts to discover his humanity and in the process becomes an all-powerful, if naive, god. Nice artwork, which I think this might be a new illustration. I think they're kind of trying to recreate that art style and emulate the artwork from the original book, I think. Other figures in this lineup, there's the black costume Spider-Man. I think this is pre-symbiote, and this is a hard action figure to get a hold of. You have Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, Titania, and the Beyonder. And then here's instructions for the shield. Much like the original toy from the 80s, the shield opens up, and you can insert the lenticular card and close the shield. Alright, seems like there's no real proper way of removing the generic card without damaging the corners because it's affixed very tightly to the plastic tray. So the minute you take it out, you're going to dog ear the corners, which is unfortunate. He comes with the alternate hands, and I might actually use these hands as opposed to the fists. Like I mentioned, the Beyonder, he could warp reality, and I kind of figure he's someone that's gonna, use his powers over his fists. And then here's the old identity shield. You might remember this from the 80s. It's a lenticular design, meaning you look at it one way, you get one expression. Then you move it, and you get his alternate portrait. And then this thing does open up. And you can swap out this for the generic Superpowers or Secret Wars logo. But I figure most collectors are going to opt for the lenticular card. Just because it's it's pretty cool. So let's get that back in place. There it goes, snaps back in. And let's take a look at the Beyonder. So this is pretty cool. It's kind of it's almost like a miniature planet. You kind of have the different biomes and kind of like the core, the molten rock and lava. Like I said, the Beyonder, he has like limitless powers. He could create like universes and new worlds and alternate realities. He created battle worlds, so if you wanted to, you could pretend this is like him recreating a new pocket universe or planet at its birth. Now the figure itself, I think this might be a completely new sculpt for the body. I think. I might be wrong on that though. But like I stated at the beginning of the video, this guy, his costume, it's very reminiscent of, something you'd see in the 80s, post-disco era. It's kind of like Nightwing with the large lapel collar with the open chest. The 80s also kind of like, this was a very popular hairstyle. We saw like David Hasselhoff and Knight Rider with a very similar hairstyle. Kind of has like an evil grin. He's baring his teeth. He's kind of like looking like he's up to no good. He's probably scheming to like pit the superheroes against the villains. But little does he know, he has to take on the likes of people like Doctor Doom and the Avengers. Very clean figure. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. Outside of him in this all-white color scheme. And why doesn't he... Alright. Yeah, this guy does not want to focus. Alright, so yeah, it's kind of like an off-white. It's not like a perfect white. It's a little bit... has a slight hint of gray to it. But it's a very clean figure. Pinless elbows, pinless knees. Again, love the facial expression. His head swivels, does look down. Kind of looks up. His arms articulated. Nice, clean movement, too. This is a very nice figure. It feels very well executed. There is no ab crunch or diaphragm cut, but he does feature a waist swivel. And he could kind of tilt forward and back just a little bit, not too much. His legs kick up, but again, they're kind of limited by the cut above the hip. And then his legs kick outward. Thigh swivel, very tight on my figure. Double jointed knees and articulated ankles. Again, all the joints are very tight on mine. It's almost like it's too new, which isn't a bad thing. If I had to guess his height, I'm going to say he's about feels a little bit shorter. I'm going to say maybe 6.5 inches tall. And I'm right, just a little bit below that. Here he is next to the X-Men Legends Vulcan figure. So yeah, fun action figure. If you're old enough to have read the comic book way back in the day, this is probably a really cool action figure for you to have. If you're a younger collector, younger comic book reader, you might not have any interest in this character specifically. You might be more interested in like Wolverine, Captain America, and Iron Man in the Secret Wars toy lineup. But this is really cool. I like this guy a lot. And then the shield, you can either clip it with the C-clip, which I'm always terrified of either stressing this or breaking it. So I always just kind of opt to, plug it in, but there's nowhere to plug it in. And I do want to swap the hands out before I forget. Yeah, I do prefer these hands more. For me, it's more representative of his power set. He's going to like alter reality and just really mess around with everything. So I kind of figure, these are the hands to use. If you want him to look like he's like creating a new world or universe, you could like pose him like this. It would have been nice if they found a way to like make this look like it floated, like maybe give it a flight stand. Or if you want, you could just hold it. So, alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.